Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to EGFH week number 2. My name is Freya, and with me in the casting booth, as you see to my right, is the legendary Nerds Corner. We are going to be having a lot of fun today. We're going to be starting off our very first game right here. It's going to be Da Vinci Renegade Wolves going up against Da Vinci Werewolves. Now, Nerds, tell me something about these teams.
Well, I mean, we don't know too much about them just yet in the standings, but I believe the Wolves have already played a game, so they have a little bit of an edge, right? They've gotten into the swing of things. They've kind of figured out their groove. The Werewolves, on the other hand, we're going to be finding out kind of a bit about them as the story progresses, as they play this best of three. We're going to be seeing some of the teams. We're going to be looking at their story and their synergies as we get into it. For the rest of today, we are also going to be going. Oh, Lubbock Latorius versus Hawthorne Skill Issue, Crespi Celts versus Faith Lutheran Crusaders for game number 3. And those are going to be the future games. So this is the schedule for today.
I believe we are starting off our very first game on Ascent as the first map, followed up by Icebox,
Ooh.
while the third one is gonna be none other than. I just see it. There it
Lotus.
is. Lotus. I forgot
Lotus.
it because it's Lotus.
Ooh. I mean, Lotus being the newer map, having it as the decider near the end. Interesting. Because at the end of the day, you kind of are like, it's because it's a newer map. I don't know how much these students have played it and how well versed they are on it, but that makes it that much more interesting. We're going to be finding out how they play on it. Ascent and Icebox being some of the staples of Valorant for a very long time. I think the only other map that I would consider a stable, like we've seen this tried and true, is Haven, but that gets switched out for the other three site map. Words flip-flopping there for Lotus.
Absolutely, and I would like to let our viewers know Renegade Wolves have already won over Hawthorne Skill Issue in their first week, so they're coming into this one with a little bit of momentum. And of course, while on the other side, Werewolves have yet to play their first game, Hawthorne Skill Issue are looking for their very first win this week.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to play against each other. I think we're going to be going into a slight break as we get everyone into the lobby situated, checking things, dotting T's and crossing I's, as we say. But yeah, we'll see you guys in just a little bit once we figure everything out.
And we are back with our very first map here, Ascent, as we look at the roster lineups. Of course, Renegade Wolves are going to be starting off on the defensive side, while the Werewolves will be starting off on the attacking side. Yeah, we'll be having a little bit of that throughout the
The
stream today.
back
You know,
and
a little bit of
forth.
confusing names,
Well,
absolutely. But nerds, bring us down with what kind of rosters do we have here?
I will say though, regardless of the situation, Da Vinci's walking home with a win. I think the rosters are interesting. All duelists coming out from the werewolf side, which, if you're gonna do it on any map, I feel like Ascent is one of those maps where you can kind of get away with an all duelist composition. A more conservative look for the Renegades as they go for a Viper. You got the smokes, Killjoy utility to lock down sites, the double initiator. I really love to see that meta. And the more consistent Jet, right? You get the consistency with your duelists. You can dash in onto site as we get to see the beautiful bottom of the map. And we are going into the first round of the first game of these teams.
Okay, nerds, I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. If I walk into a game with 5 duelists, I'm either gonna be thinking, okay, easy game, or, oh my god, these guys are way too confident.
I mean, whether it's confidence or naivety, we're gonna have to see. It's going to come down to their play style. I feel like an all duelist composition, and this might be a surprising take, I feel like it works better on defense. Genuinely, I think it works better on defense because if you think about how defense is played out, you really have to peek to gain information, and then you have to be sedentary. So the movement abilities for most duelists work out as the first blood is going straight to the werewolves. They're just running through mid and getting so much information and space. The werewolves, they're just pushing through, taking all of it. They're just aggressing everywhere. A flawless victory as Gabe gets a beautiful 4K.
Babe walking over through mid, finding one headshot after the other, taking down 4 in the process there. Renegade Wolves, well, they're going to be starting off on a bit of a deficit here as Werewolves are starting off very strong. And, knowing that you're starting off on the attacking side does give you that bit of confidence going with the all-duelist setup. So I see where this is coming.
We'll see. The confidence, like you said, talking a little bit about... I think they're talking about ping there, which makes sense. Sometimes ping has issues with it. Neon just running in there. They've all pushed forward, and there's a disconnect. So that was the ping issues right there. A slightly unfortunate turn of events, and slightly unfortunate as well for Renegade Wolves, who are just they're on a lesser buy. So it's, going up against full Spectres and full Duelist team, that roster is a recipe for chaos.
Absolutely, and with that disconnect coming in, the team is in a bit of a shambles. But it's in a bit of shambles at the moment. They're trying to, recollect their strats here, and of course, I believe there is going to be a timeout here. As soon as the player is back, we'll be having the game up and running again. But Werewolves are off to a great start here. The second round victory gonna be adding up into their coffers, having more money to work with, and more confidence for the rest of this game.
Confidence is key. I think it's really important that, like you said, duelists, you gotta be confident. I don't know if they're gonna be going for a tech pause, because I believe they're allowed to get a tech pause to get their Viper back in it. But it is gonna be the first rifle round for the match, at least for the majority of the Renegade Wolves.
Finally, assault rifles all the way through, and it seems like the team is ready to play with a bit of a disconnect. Oh, well, there it is. Jujubei back in the game.
Go.
You still got 3 seconds. You gotta buy the gun, Jujubei. You gotta be ready for it. Oh, he has no ping to work with.
It's the ping.
Oh my god, look at that.
Confidence.
That was a Spectre from 2 miles away, taking down Jet in an instant. We got official Beans taking down 2, so a lot of confidence here coming in on the defensive side. Finally, Renegade Wolves getting something going for themselves. Hakazi, all alone over at B, does have a Phantom in his hand. A pretty good angle to work with. The Neon doesn't see us coming. Over on the other side, we got Swag Netry taking him down. Official Beans is officially taking 3 players over at A sides. Oh my god, Webster Takes down one with the Guardian, picks up the Vandal. The spray comes in for official beans, and we are ending up in a 2v1 where Jujubei is struggling to keeping things intact at the moment. His ping can be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and with 2 players left, it's 2 versus 1. You're gonna have some hardship regardless. Weber fan on the low in terms of health, but not in terms of aim. Attack wins their 3rd round in an amazing, they had a bonus, so they were able to use those Spectres to a phenomenal degree. Gabe the Babe with that ultimate on the line and at the top of the leaderboard, leading the pack altogether for the Renegade Wolves. I mean,
you gotta give credit to official beans, right? 3 kills all alone over at A side while using minimum utility. Even then, not being able to make that kill or at mid, so
doesn't connect, unfortunately.
Yeah, very close 3rd round there. Of course, now assault rifle is a bit of a disadvantage here, so official beans will have to work a little more harder in order to get this round up.
The cheeky corner doesn't work out for official beans. The site take is already commencing. I don't know if Juju has been able to reconnect, but they are playing, and they're playing with their team. That being said, they go down. Smokes being the only player to get one there. And the thing that is interesting is the Werewolves, I mean, their confidence is showing, right? They picked all duelists, and usually that's a very, dare I say, interesting, daring. Actually, yeah, the puns work out there. It's a daring composition because you really have to worry about a lot of stuff. You don't have the smokes, maybe from Jet, maybe the wall from Phoenix, but they're very temporary and they're very short lasting just to get you onto site. And you'd think that the site holds would be their strongest problem, or at least like keeping and maintaining the spike, but it doesn't seem like that. They just go for raw firepower, which has been working out for them as there's 2 players down already.
And it seems like they've left the spike over at spawns, heading straight onto the defensive side with smokes, taking down one before being taken down by Webster as Hakazi left being the last man alive. Oh, almost got through the wall bang there, but a 3v1 here. He does hear Gabe Babe coming in, but cannot survive the headshot coming in from the Reyna, who's probably at the top of the leaderboards at the moment, leading the pack for the offensive side.
I don't know if it was just me, but I think it was Beataboo Enjoyer, the Jet. It was one of the Jets that had an immortal buddy on their gun. Now, as casters, we love to learn about the ranks, the play styles, and the thought processes. So it's interesting to see all operators and a marshal for the Werewolves. Very interesting. Okay, then Odin. Okay, they're balancing things out in terms of the economy. I was gonna say it's very interesting to learn about their ranks through buddies and charms. Sometimes like smokes being gold, so still pretty high up there. But all operators, marshals, just all
great confidence.
Man.
Will he find anybody with the Marshal? I believe he does connect, but it's a Marshal against an Operator, and Gabe is going to be finding him over at short, giving Werewolves the positioning and the space they need to take a side. We see Miles with a rocket launcher failing to get Hakazi, but I believe he does have the Operator to work with. Oh, the spray doesn't connect. Hakazi gets the 3rd life to work with as he gets the spray in. Not yet. Oh, but he spots him. Hakazi needs to be careful with when he goes for this next swing. And I mean, it was about time. Oh, look at Smokes, though. We didn't even see him coming in from the flanks, taking down 2. And it's now a 2v2 where Renegade Wolves, rather 1v2, I believe Jujubi still has some struggle reconnecting here, but 2v1. Let's see how Smokes can figure this out. Does have the ultra work with. The shock dart does not connect at the moment. Miles is low, and oh my god, what a play by Smokes. The shock dart connects. Can he get the last man? Gabe is on the Operator, but the classic headshots keep in coming. And that's gonna leave Werewolves in a 1v1. Jujubi has no guns to work with. I believe he can pick this up, but time is of the essence here, and Gabe has bought enough for his team.
That was a fairly interesting pistol round there. Just basically the pistols coming out for both sides, and in a clutch situation, the Renegade Wolves disconnect was able to come back. Fortunately, not able to close it out near the end, as the Werewolves are going for another interesting strategy. The operator in the hands of Beataboo Enjoyer with their ultimate on the line as well. They're going to be forcing this buy, making sure to go on, hit all the metrics. 6 rounds up right now for the Werewolves. And the thing is, the Renegade Wolves, as we saw earlier, they were the team that had that first victory. They were the team that had that at the beginning, at the start. So it's surprising that they are having some struggles right now. Sakazi is able to get the first pick, the first crack in the defense of the Werewolves. Close angles though.
Look at Miles sneaking up on them with that shorty, doing so much damage. People Enjoyer needs to be very careful with his next move. The operator doesn't connect, but the teammate is there to save the day, and so is the case for the Vinci Connect side. The Werewolves helping each other out on that offense. That's gonna lead us to a 7th round win for the Werewolves.
7 rounds up, 3 ults in the hands of really skilled players. At Neon ult, especially through all the chaos that they've been having, it's really I would say it's really powerful on a player that knows how to play around it, and it's really not so good if you don't know what you're doing. But considering this team has just been playing so effectively together, even with the save with the shorties, because they were to build up their economy, they did an amazing job, right? You just have to be close range with it. It's very, very bad at long range. They nerfed the damage of that by so much. He sneaks up on Jujubee and finds him. Yoke using that run it back really confidently, playing back in A main. He doesn't need to worry about them coming in, as Beataboo Enjoyer is trying to do work with the knives, but it gets traded out, taken down. 2 players left for Renegade Wolves.
Players remaining, but plenty of chances. Here we see Gabe taking down Ghazi, and the number of chances are running out as Gabe just walks in, jumps on his smokes,
oh my
eliminates
god,
him, and gets the 8th round for his team.
Look at that Phantom.
That's a Radiant buddy. That is a Radiant buddy as well.
That is... wow.
That is a Radiant.
That is a Radiant buddy. Yeah, so Radiant is the highest rank that you can achieve on the ranked ladder in terms of competitive play. That's why we're kind of in shock, because we see in EGFC in the college scene a decent amount of Radiants and Immortals, but having someone in high school so young but so talented at this game is crazy to see. It's a little bit jaw-dropping for us. We're like, dang, that is really impressive. That being said, that makes a lot of sense why they're going for that Reyna, being a duelist that needs to get those eliminations for building up and utilizing their utility. You can only use your utility once you've gotten an elim. As Swag Trauma Tree goes down.
Can't be too confident against the Jet. We have seen some great plays coming in from Beaver Enjoyer, who's taken down one here. Unfortunately, we'll have to fall back now and play on the site retake. Official Beans here leading the charge with the Phantom in hand. Can he find Fan? No, he can't. Webster traded out by Bibidu. And we are down to a 4v2 here. Things are looking really good for Renegade Wolves here, but Miles over at the short side takes down Smokes. Gotta be careful with this next play. Hakazi is there to take him down, leaving Yoke to be the last man alive in this 1v2. He's playing it very safe. Bibidu Enjoyer falls down to him. Can he get that off connect? Not yet. Yoke thinks about the flash, but gets traded out as both of the players peak at the exact same time. And nerds, we finally got the very first round win for Renegade Wolves.
I always believe the overconfidence from the Werewolves to be hiding out in B main and kind of just waiting to see things, allowing for the site retake from the Renegade Wolves to commence. I love this rethink of their strategy, especially with Jujubee not being able to play with them currently due to some technical issues. They're still able to use that, and not only to their advantage, but also to great effect by playing for retake and playing together. They were able to go on site and peak angles. They know that they might not have a really good job solo, but they have a really interesting. Well, I was going to commend them for their efforts because they were doing an amazing job on that retake, peeking together because they know, hey, if we're going into these 1v1s, we're isolating our fights against Radiant Immortal players. These guys are like, they have the aim, they have the brain, so let's just outbrain them. Let's just all bum rush them, because if we have 4 players peeking one angle, it's very unlikely for them to take out all 4 of us. Maybe a 1-for-1 trade, and then at that point, you're just playing a numbers game to see if you can gain an advantage. And once they had that, I think it was at 5 versus 3, they were able to get those 2 early picks with some of their top players. They just, you know, it's a numbers game. Boom, boom, boom. 2 players left. If one goes down, there's still 1 more to defuse.
And, you know, I can imagine the average ranks of the defensive side here coming anywhere around golds and plats, and you being able to take a round against, well, Radiant?
Radiant Immortals?
That's a great job. I mean, you gotta remember that
That's
for
off.
a long time, and you know, because as soon as you start improving this game, you're gonna remember, okay, that's how it started. We're gonna do better, and we can do so much better. Still the start of EGFH this season.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be trying to move on to Icebox, fix some of those tech issues, and see what's going on. So we're going to be looking into that for you guys, and we'll be back after a short break after we get everything sorted. Hello and welcome back to EGFH. We are back. There was a slight mix-up in the lobby. The players were on they were on the wrong sides and the overlay did not match because of that, but thankfully they figured it out. We were able to communicate to them and get it all sorted for Icebox, the next map that we're already getting into. Da Vinci, the Werewolves, and the Renegade Wolves. I am one of the voices here, Nerds Corner, with my co-caster, Flater.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
How we doing? All right, getting back into this one, nerds. Phil, just to catch up, it was Renegade Wolves taking that game number one. They were the ones starting them off on the offensive side and winning a couple of rounds in a row before that surrender came in from Werewolves. Now, heading into this next one, we see once again Renegade Wolves going in for the all duelist setup, while Werewolves, they seem more calm and collected, having a bit of a double initiator setup along with a fade
Ooh.
as well as single duelist. So, a pretty classic one for an icebox matchup.
I do like the Werewolves. They have a really good setup. I am a huge fan of Fade Sky. My personal opinion, Fade Sky is one of the strongest in the game, only because of the way that their utility functions. Sova is really, really powerful, but you need to memorize a lot of lineups in very niche areas, which could be extremely powerful. Fade is just a little bit easier to use. On top of that, it is also I feel like the Prowlers provide so much more information and utility for clearing out corners and angles that Sova's shock darts don't do, because even though the shock darts do damage, people can just tank that damage and like still be really ratty hiding in that corner to get that elimination that they need, to find a little corner to find something. But the Prowler, like, you're blind. You can't see anything. You're not going to be able to take someone down. You're going to need to either move out of position or really pray that one of your teammates is holding your back and getting your crossfire.
And I'm just thinking they are starting us off as they are starting on the offensive side here, Werewolves. So facing a team that is much higher ranked than you, that gives you the ability to read into them, especially in long run. I can see I can see Werewolves adapting to the kind of playstyle that the defense brings onto the table.
I would hope so. I feel like the higher rank a player is, not the more the more interesting your strategy can become to play against them, right? You know kind of what they're going to be doing. It's not too surprising to think, okay, these guys are going to be doing either some really, really ego things, or they're going to be doing some really, really standard traditional things.
Well, as you were saying that, Swagnometry did put that one into perspective as he got a bit of a knife kill there. Now we got two of the defensive-sided players trying to clear off mid-position while Smokes has already ran through. Gotta be careful of the flash, which he is, but still not ready enough to take down Swagnometry. Oh, great shot there by Yoke and Miles taking down the last man, and then we got Renegade Wolves taking round number one.
And now that we kind of see both these teams, it makes a decent amount of sense. Renegade Wolves is their varsity roster, where the Werewolves, I believe, are the junior varsity roster for this squad. So a little bit of just to put a bit more perspective on both of these teams and their rank levels and their skill levels, right? Maybe some cross team training, right? You gotta learn from your not only your opponents but also your peers.
Ooh, Gabe, he's got a Vandal in hand, and he is in a pretty good position to line them all up. He takes down two before Slushy's Stinger comes into fruition. We got one kill coming in from Slushy there over at B main. Heading into this next one, we got Yoke. Yellow box, right position, right time. He can take down another one right here, which he does, leading us into his 3v1 with Hakazi, the Viper. Last man alive. That's a pretty good timing on the smoke. The KO's right behind them, but they gotta check that angle. They don't, but they don't need to. Anyways, KO heading into the different direction. Webster. Oh, what a flick coming in from Webster. The Guardian flick onto Hakazi's head, taking the second round win here on Icebox.
Guardians are really powerful. I would say good team play as well. The Slushy being able to trade out their fallen teammate and The Stinger is, in my opinion, one of the most, I don't know. I believe both you and Captain Atoka believe that Frenzy over Stinger. I remember we had this. I remember we
Yeah.
had this whole conversation about it. And I'll say this: I still think that there's some shots that you just can't make with a Frenzy, and sometimes it is worth just going for the Stinger. But I do like this more cautious play style. They've spread out just a bit. Viper going onto that A site to make sure we're being covered, and A is being covered, so anyone's coming on the flank, they're gonna be able to get them and hopefully pick up a weapon for themselves. As they got that elimination, they were able to take them down. Ooh, speaking of being able to take down, official Bean falls. And GGB having those ping issues and also not being able to connect. There's only 2 players left, but that is going to be an excellent fake, as they're going to be rotating all the way down to A site. And because they're currently on a save buy, this extra plant money is going to be really effective for them. Along with that kill that they got earlier, they're going to hopefully have a decent amount of money to buy in this next round.
Smart plays coming in from Werewolves here, heading into this 2v4. They got side under control. Miles takes down one, but Smoke's here to take down Yoke before finally being traded out by 5 Webster Fan. As we got Renegade Wolves once again taking the spike down, taking yet another round win. And nerds, we gotta point this out here. Werewolves are playing a very great game when it comes to trying to outplay the enemies in terms of the mental ability. Great play over there to deciding to rotate to A, getting that spike down, but the mechanical abilities do come into question here and there, which I believe over practice they're going to do just fine.
I think it was interesting to see, because Renegade Wolves are a higher ranked team, and they just kind of normally in higher ranks, even if there's a full rush onto B, they'll still leave one on A site because of the confidence level from the teams. But they didn't. They just were like, we'll just fully rotate, which is like a little bit of an overconfidence, as Slushy is able to take Gabe down, the person who was doing so much damage to them. I mean, I believe Gabe was also a higher rank. I don't know, we didn't get to see exactly the rank, but this is a whole different team. Smokes is able to take down Yoke. 3v5. The Werewolves are looking alive. They're gonna be taking some rounds off them. I can feel it. Slushy takes out one more, and it's almost sealed for the Werewolves.
Gotta be careful, would not want to stack into this particular position. All 3 of the players trying their level best to stay calm. Swagnometry takes down one, but Smokes is there to trade him out, leaving 5 Webster Fan be the last man alive. Slushy, half health. Still plenty of time to recover from it. 4v1 here. Werewolves, like you said, looking at a completely different team, as Beans is there to take him down. And nerds, this is exactly what we were talking about. Using your ability to bait out the shots, using those abilities to bait the players in and trade the kills out. This is what you want to see from the Werewolves roster.
I'm seeing something interesting. Faye Webster Fan is going for, I wish they stayed with that operator. They're like, we've been we just lost a round. We got to keep asserting ourselves in this game and making sure that we are known, we are heard, we are the varsity roster. Let's go for an operator. But it doesn't work out for them. They don't have the economy, or they're rather not going for it instead. And I will say the Werewolves, hopefully they can use this confidence from them to their advantage, especially with them being pushed out of position really easily as official Beans goes down. And as far as they get pushed out of position, they also get really I would say like those 1v1s are really favorable for the higher ranks.
So far, what we have seen working for Werewolves is closed stacked pushes together with a lot of utilities being used early on, getting those flashes in, the initiator plays, helping to flush the players out, and that has what worked. But facing them 1v1, especially the ones with the vandals in their hand, that is something that they need to take care of. And this is a pattern from Renegade Wolves. We have seen them always push through, no matter what they're on the offensive side or on the defensive side. So we would want to see some predictability coming in from Werewolves as well.
You have an all duelist comp. Pushing in is kind of your main goal. I mean, if you can take out your opponents and win each round, not by the defuse, but just by the raw eliminations, the raw frags, you are going to do so well. Swagnometry getting so much info for their team, but this is the thing. You get pushed into those 1v1s, and sometimes you lose them. Smoke getting the first blood as official Bean falls. 2 ultimates on the side for each team as they're getting ready to take this site.
Oh, Jokin gave it to extremely mechanical players holding off B side here. So I would want to see some flashes coming in to take down Gabe. Here is pushed through yellow box, almost looking to find one. Jujube and Smokes both living to see another day. Yoke, ult in hand, trying to get as much information as he possibly can. Taken down by Smokes, who's on his 3 kill, looking for the 4th one. Akazi not being able to put down Fi there, but finally, oh my god, look at that. Fi on 10 health, takes down 1, but Smokes is on the way to make this ace happen, facing Gabe. Him got 80 health points to his name. Does he spot his head? Yes, he does, but Gabe's there.
Quicker
Find
to the draw.
him first and take him down. Werewolves, Renegade Wolves rather, take yet another round.
Man, they're just quicker to the draw, but that's the thing. Werewolves, I can see them changing up their thought processes. They spread out a bit. They can't really fake as much anymore, especially because the Renegade Wolves are going to be kind of reading into that. They're going to be like, okay, well, we let our guard down, we lost a round, so how can we adapt from that? Getting it down to a 1v1 against opponents that are a little bit out of the range that you are in, it's already a huge plus, as they're going to be putting a decent amount of utility to just rush into tube and into kitchen. But that KO knife is going to get all of them. Oh, right, Smokes is not with them. It just looks like that through the x-ray. But he's going to be able to find 4, and that's going to give them all the information they need.
Yoke in a pretty good position to take down multiple players here, but the spray doesn't work out for him. Official Beans takes him down with the Sheriff. Hawkazi there to save the day with the ult as well. 5 Epster fan, Wandel in hand, isn't able to spot anybody yet. They know he's coming. The knives are out. The jump should be coming in on the other side. Gabe's has taken down 1. What?
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not
Slushy
sure what happened there.
out.
Why? Slushy just walk in.
I believe they thought it was a friendly and unfortunate situation. It happens. You don't want to shoot at your own teammates. Official Beans able to take out Gabe. Swagnometry goes for the tap. He's not going to hold it. He's 1 player left, but it's the Viper's ultimate. He pushes in. Akazi goes down. Just as much confidence as Renegade Wolves are pushing out and pursuing. They are taking this way more seriously and a lot more competitively, because they have seen how much how close they were. That was down to a 2v1. That's still really close for players that are in Radiant Immortal lobbies. That's really close to get to.
Absolutely, and you love to see how Werewolves have been intimidating their relatively higher ranked opponents into making them try their harder to take these rounds. Of course, now we see Vandals coming in instead of the normal guns that we see the offensive roster usually going for. But heading into this 8th round now, a push coming in from Werewolves towards a side. A calm and collected push like this can fetch you rounds, but Yoke and Miles doing the exact same thing that they've been doing, pushing in, finding 3 there, leaving Hakazi and Jujube all alone. Do have the rest to work with, but they need to have the perfect timing to pull this one off. Hakazi being caught by 2 sides, takes down Miles. Can he spot the second one? Not yet. Ooh, Swagnometry, how did he get there?
He pushed in on to Nest and then was able to jump. So Swagnometry is also able to get another pick for themselves. Great plays by them, because you take a lot of aggression as those duelists. You gotta take all that space and really control it. Considering you can control it with smokes, you can control it with sentinel utility, or you can control it with just players being there. But they have the confidence to just control it with players. They don't need to worry about too much other than that. It's just difficult to go up against such a strong team and with a built-up economy like this. Gonna need to get those first bloods. Werewolves have been doing successfully. If they've been getting like 2 first bloods, they do a really good job. Oh, Yolk baiting for his teammate. Gabe is just hiding in a corner.
That he is, and Webster fan, as aggressive as he can be, sitting at the top of the boxes, taking down Slushy. Gabe finding another, and Jujube caught with the wall up. Hakazi, last man alive, hiding over at A side, and what do you do? Not have the spike at the moment, so he's gonna try to play the long game here. Trying to flank in from over at A, but looking at Renegade's position, it does seem like they see this coming.
They're just holding the spike. There's no reason. They know that he's gonna have to come back for it, and regardless of the situation, it's going to be really hard. Hakazi being one of the top players for the Werewolves, doing an amazing job and showing off all of their capabilities. But in a 1v4 situation, it is difficult. You got to clear every angle. You can see him methodically checking everything until he's able to find out one. But now they're going to be swarming on him. Even though he takes out one, everyone knows his position. It's been revealed and no utility to boot. Yo gets the flash and just is able to just lock in. It's like a homing missile. Just boom, finds him. And that's going to be 8-1.
Oh, that's a pretty good shot from Yoke. Just absolutely locking on to Hakazi's head there, taking yet another round for Renegade Wolves heading into this next one. Economy is not looking so great over the Werewolf side, while Renegade Wolves are swimming in money.
Swimming in money. That is some fun. Hey, that's a fun thought process, but you are correct. That building up that economy, once you have that, it's just it becomes almost like this is the snowball of Valorant. You snowball so far into the rounds that it just becomes really difficult to go up against them, just like Swignometry using that ultimate to great effect to get a pick for themselves. Now with one player down and the first blood going in favor of Renegades, that's gonna be sticky.
Look at Webster fan being as aggressive as he can be. Official Beans and Webster might just be having a bit of a duel right here. Great decision by Official Beans, but Webster fan is fast enough to take him down over on the other side. Yoke has taken yet another. Smokes does only have the Sheriff to work with. The flash comes in handy. He finds Yoke, but Swagnometry is there to take him down. Miles, all of them come closing down upon him. Living choose the way to be the last man alive. Bucky, he finds one. Can he get the second one? No, he can. Doesn't connect. And Webster will get a knife kill on his hand.
That's 9-1. A difficult scoreline to read, but just Renegade Wolves doing everything perfectly. And the team, Smokes and Hakazi, both at the top, leading the charge and helping their teammates. They're going to be going for a full buy this round, or at least a forced buy this round, trying to and hoping to win it out so they can close out 9-3 in this half.
9-3 seems to be the plan here for the Werewolf side. Let's see what they're able to bring to the table. And, you know, this is something that we have seen the defensive side doing every single time. Every single time we got one of the players pushing in through the rope area.
Swagnometry. He's
doesn't seem like they see it coming, nerds. You gotta be careful. Oh, Smokes is there to save the day. It's taken down, though. We got 5 Epster fan and Yoke taking down 2, leaving Werewolves into their last 3 players, while Renegades are looking to take the site back by force.
Gabe is going to be caught out guard. Hakazi able to even things out 3-3 for their team. He is on guard fully. The timing's just missed out, but Jujube is going to be looking in the wrong direction. Smokes finds him. Faye with a 3-piece for themselves.
Wow, what is Smoke there for Yoke? But Hakazi is there to save the day. Did not expect him to push through further. Miles, last man holding over B side. What do you do if you're Hakazi?
It's a 1v1. You're going to be worried. You have a lot of time. 30 seconds is still a decent amount to head on over to B site and the ultimate in hand. A fairly obvious choice to utilize it, but where are they going to plant? The spray through the smoke doesn't work out. He's gonna go with the nade, taking down the HP of Hakazi, but that dominant ultimate is still on the line.
Ooh, gotta be careful.
Oh, they have lineups for this. They have to have lineups for this. Hakazi, they just said, was one of their top players. I'm looking at the chat, looking at all the teams. There we go. The lineups are so powerful in this game.
You know, when you said Hakazi might just be worried for this 1v1, it doesn't seem like, because this man is in heaps of confidence at the moment. Does have one more orb to work with, And that's gonna push Miles away from the spike once again, leaving Hakazi having a chance to make this knife kill happen. Oh, he has already defused half the spike, but he walks in, takes the 4K, and takes the second round.
Hakazi was aware. Hakazi was aware that internal clock ticking down seconds in their mind to find out. I know exactly that has been longer than 5 seconds. He's got to have the half. I need to peek this now. A mark of a good player to know exactly when to peek. Because if you don't hear any noise in that ultimate, you don't hear them moving around, it's going to be really hard. And even if they are moving around, even if they did get off the spike, in that ultimate, the decay is going to leave them at 1 HP. And you just need anything, a whiff, a breath of air, and they have fallen. Now they're looking to continue this momentum forward. They do not have the maximum loss bonus, but they do have weaponry to boot. The trade in numbers going out as Smokes takes out one. I think the first blood's going to Werewolves is going to give him not only confidence, but also the ability to push forward as Faye Webster takes out Slushy. Whoa.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, Webster's in a bit of a spree at the moment. Smokes misses his first shot, but confident enough to get the second one here with the operator looking very scary at the moment, facing Gabe. Currently very close quarters position. Gabe being a little too confident there. Smokes coming in with a 3K. Does have only one bullet in the tank. Switches out with a Vandal. Is flashed away, so Yoke's gonna take him down, and that is the first half over with the Renegade Wolves securing a 10-2 scoreline.
I believe they thought that you were teleported. It was just a Hail Mary attempt to see if the TP has gone off after hearing utility in a flash. It was just unfortunate set of circumstances. Smokes going on an absolute roll at that last round with an operator in hand. Dang. I mean, good players with ops, you see them, and it's crazy.
I mean, props to Smokes for even getting the first 3 kills with that operator. You know, you got to be very careful having such close quarter angles being peaked there, and Smokes did a pretty good job in dominating the 3 first kills that he managed to secure over the Renegade side. Heading into this next one, we got Renegade back in their very comfortable position with the 5 duelist, and that is the offense. Swagnometry, of course, looks like to be the one leading the charge here. Toast in hand, Slushy does also have one, and he finds Gabe early on. Down to half his health. That reveal's gonna do a number.
Yoke.
They're hiding while Webster and Miles on full Swignometry. Oh my god, Swignometry.
Oh.
That is so unfortunate. Jujubei takes down yet another Renegade Wolves down to their last 2 players. Hakazi, you know what this man can do. He's pretty smart enough to take this 2v1 on his own. The DK pulled out as well, and all he's doing is counting down time here. Classic. Once again, finds swag of 1v1, trying to get that spike down as well. Yoke. No shenanigans, no time for shenanigans. You gotta peek, you gotta push in, which he does. And he gets the spike.
Don't
Hakazi.
fake.
Pros don't fake.
Pros don't fake. You gotta believe down to the wire, down to the second. The using that utility sometimes isn't, you would expect someone to get off the spike at half in that situation, but that's the thing. When you're going up against pro players, they think differently, and sometimes you can use that to your advantage, and in this situation it works out perfectly against them. They have this internal clock. They are adapting, thinking of strategies like, hey, these guys are maybe slightly lower ranked, but they still have that high rank mentality of like, okay, no, a good player would be doing this and this and this. And that's the thing. These guys aren't good players. They're amazing players. They know exactly how to play against it and to their advantage.
Absolutely love to see what Hakazi has brought to the table here. Once again, we see the Spectre on his hand facing Fi and Gabe at the same time. The Flash Hour could do some damage, but Gabe doesn't connect with the Sheriff, leaving Hakazi still very much alive here. Yoke puts a little too into deep territory, does take down one. He's very much alive. Miles on the flank, he's taken down 2. Hakazi once again in a very uncomfortable position. He does find one, down to 20 health. Swignometry, oh, he knows where he is. Hakazi isn't too careful with those last sprays, and Swignometry is there to take him down. Renegade Wolves are up by 11.
Picking up a reward for themselves, Swignometry getting a fun skin, but also a good win for them. Renegade Wolves being able to win out their force buy. They all bought up, I believe. And now the entire team is going for a Bucky rush. A interesting strategy, but one that works relatively well, especially with players that have the teamwork. You got all your teams going together. And I will say, I just said all duelists, but then I looked again. Miles is going for that KO pick. Really, I mean, you can play him like a duelist, but a very, very strong pick nonetheless, as Slushy's able to get that first blood as they're going for a Bucky rush instead. Gabe is able to take out one. There's Slushy again, one of the players to be looking at. Bucky's in hands. He's able to get one. No, I don't know if he's able to get the second. Yoru's still alive. That's Yoke right there waiting. Weber fan doing an amazing job, but again, it's the long range. It all comes down to a 1v1. Yoke is going to be planting under rafters, hiding in the corners. He gets the flash. The spray goes in favor of Hakazi, and they are going to be staying alive for one more round with the ultimate built up and on the line for the Werewolves. This is starting to look like a game.
One more round, one more Hakazi win right over here. You know, it's a bit of an alternative so far. You know, in the last 4 rounds, we got Hakazi taking 2, and Renegade Wolves going away with 2 as well, with Hakazi being the last man alive. So he is pretty much the most dominant player so far on the Werewolf side, and you would love to see more of Hakazi in the future as well. I would love to see what becomes of Hakazi moving into the EGFH field next week's.
I think we'll see this team develop, the roster start to grow, and the teams start to play off of each other in such a miraculous manner. Looking at Hakazi's patience, pushes away. He finds out Gabe, calms his team. Hey, he's going to be over here. We don't need to worry about him just yet. Oh, Jujube playing on a rat angle, able to find one. The fake, they think that they're flash pushing in with confidence. Swagnometry is able to find one.
Run it back, looking to get Hakazi here, but all he wants is information, and that he has received for his team. But Official Beans is there to take yet another man down. Swagnometry, the judge in hand, does get the spike down. Yoke and Gabe are on the covering positions. What do? Do they find Slushy? Yes, they do. Gabe takes him down. Hakazi, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, to pull in some of the high numbers of damage. Let's see what he's able to pull off here. A 2v2, while Yoke manages to receive as much information as he possibly can. Smoke's forced to push back. Hakazi is already pushed into its side. Swignometry, he doesn't know where Hakazi is, and just like that, Werewolves take yet another round. Remember, nerds, you said this has become a game. Well, this has become a game for the Werewolves side. That is 2 rounds in a row being taken by the defense.
And now they're going to start going on a roll. The counter roll is still extremely powerful, as the Werewolves are not only going to be building up economy, but confidence as well. The Renegade Wolves consistently buying up. It's this overconfidence that I see in a lot of high-ranked players, just to say, oh, we're pretty good, so we're going to be able to win out against them. They only have 1 round to play with, right, for the Werewolves. If they lose this any of the rounds in the following games, they will go to match point, and that is going to be really stressful. So they can lose at least 1 before they're going to be out of this just yet. And, you know, normally I would hold off on saying this, but we do have a map 3 available. Lotus being the 3rd map that is going to be the decider for both these teams. Potentially something that we might see. That being said, Babe is looking to get them into match point. He is here to play 4K. He's able to get 4, but is he going to be able to close things out against a player like Hakazi? I wouldn't be surprised if they could pull off some miracles. They're just leaving the spike. Come on, guys. You got to play objective as well. Hakazi maybe going for a ninja defuse?
We'd love to see a ninja defuse here, but the smoke doesn't seem to be available for Hakazi, as he finds Gabe, denies the ace, and just like that, in a 1v4 now. Catches the bait here. Swignometry with the scout, doesn't manage to get him, but 5 Fsters there to take him down, as Hakazi takes this one into a 5-12 scoreline. Renegade Wolves are only 1 round away from taking the series.
Swagometers? Swagometers? I think I said swagonometry, but it's swagometers, because someone's like, you're gonna say this guy's name wrong a couple of times, like, perhaps.
We'll figure something out by next week.
Faye Webster fan leading the charge for their team. It is match point for the Renegade Wolves up against the Werewolves. It's going to be really hard for them, but Slushy being one of those amazing peekers, the first blood's going to them, and it's just a crazy hullabaloo as the Vinci Werewolves are down to their last player. Jujube is able to find one. Got a Bucky in hand.
Oh.
It's going to be hard.
Gotta be careful.
It's a
I
Bucky.
want to come in closer with that Bucky. Oh, caught at the wrong moment. 5 Websters there to take him down. And with that, Renegade Wolves are taking this series in a 2-0 fashion, with the second game being ended at a 13-5 scoreline.
I mean, the Werewolves were able to find their groove near the end. They were able to finish things off. Hakazi leading the charge for the entire team with 2 first bloods and plants, and also getting an amazing scoreline. 21, 15, and 5 leading the charge for the Werewolves and for the lobby. But that being said, it was a hard-fought battle for both of these teams.
Absolutely, but that was series number 1 in this week's EGFH Valorant action. We'll be back with the second series very, very soon, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are here, EGFH, and I'm here with Flater had to head off. I am here with Strive. Strive, how are you feeling?
Doing good. Very, very excited. Back on the EGFH desk. I had a moment there, but last ready to get down into this best of three. You and I here for two series tonight. So for those that are hanging around, please don't go too far. There's a lot more to come. But if you don't mind here, oh kind sir, I'm going to introduce this one here. Going to be Lubbock Notorious going up against Hawthorne Skill Issue. Yeah, I'm pumped. Going to be a great little series coming up here in terms of maps. But before we get to maps, let's talk about standings and kind of walk through what's going on here. Nerds, take us away for this one.
Well, I mean, it's the beginning of the season. It is week 2, so we don't know too much about the standings. But we know, for one, Lubbock was played, I believe they played a game, and they had to forfeit that one. So an unfortunate set of circumstances. That being said, they have a lot of chances to prove themselves here today in the standings, as I believe Renegade is currently at the top, leading the charge.
Yeah, fair points all across. And I mean, like you said, it's the beginning of the season. It's that time to get your feet wet, learn a bit about the opposition, and build your team synergy and all that good stuff. But let's hop over to the map side of things here and talk about this best of 3 series that's ahead of us. We have a great little lineup. You can see the whole pick ban situation across the board. But at the end of the day here, folks, all we really want to see is what are the picks and where are we going to for this potential 3 mapper. We're going to Ascent on that map 1. A second map guaranteed of Haven. And if we go for that stretch here, nerds, we're going to be hitting that Fracture as well at the end.
Well, we got to see Ascend earlier on in the day. Haven being, well, I mean, I personally really like Haven, but if we had to go for any 3-site map, I would say the new one, it would just be fun to see. It'd be interesting, the strategies and the thought processes. We did see some in the collegiate scene earlier on. I was able to see them play on Lotus, but we're going to be going on to Fracture. Now, Fracture, I personally really enjoy. I know that some people do not like Fracture, but I say Fracture with a well-oiled team and with some good synergies like Neon and Breach, you can have a really fun time on that map if you have a thought-out and well-placed strategy.
Yeah, for sure. Fracture's a lot of fun to watch. And I mean, in the beginning, it definitely gave me some really oddball feelings deep in my stomach. It didn't make me too happy, but it's grown on me. You've come to appreciate it, and it's a really great map with some of the small changes that were made to in recent times. It's made it much more palatable for me to enjoy. So yeah, I'm good with it here. As we get these teams settled in, let's talk about, you talked about the tail end of the series. Let's talk about the, I don't know what the opposite of the tail end, the front end, the head. I don't know. Like, tail is typically on the rear end of something. Yeah, we'll call it the head, the beginning, the start,
the mantle, the beginning, yeah.
The mantle, yeah. The Ascent and the Haven. So the Ascent is a great little place to start. Happy, good, fun time feelings. But me personally here, I'm looking most forward towards that Haven map. That's really where my marbles are. Yeah, I absolutely adore Haven with like Haven to me was the pinnacle of what Valorant was in terms of map complexity when it first came out. Like y'all remember the early days, Val was out, and then Haven showed up with 3 sites, and people's brains were absolutely blown. Like that was the map for me, and it still
Yeah.
remains as one of my top picks all across the board. So
Because
yeah,
I was
go
gonna
ahead,
say you come from Ascent, you come from the cookie cutter map, the 3 lanes that we've seen in most competitive tactical FPS, like Counter-Strike, even in games like Rainbow Six. It's never like 3 sites is always not a thing. It's usually there's only 2, A and B, Alpha, Bravo. And so now that we have both Haven and Lotus in this game, it's clear that Valorant wants to be unique in that sense to develop a different feel and vibe to their game. So I'd have to agree with you. We see a lot of Ascent, so being able to see Haven's going to be fun. But going on to Ascent, look, these picks.
A lot of contemplation here on the side of Russ in the bottom right there, just heavily debating life as a whole. But on the opposite end of it, Hawthorne's got their marbles all squared out. That Omen, KO, Jet, Sage, KJ combination. Lock-in's now coming in from the side of Lubbock High. I assume that KJ is going to be a solidified pick. It's kind of a staple on Ascent. Reyna, Omen, Raze, and the good old Fade. So comp-wise, I love it. I love to see the Jet versus Reyna duel all day, every day. It's a great little
Jet v Reyna
dichotomy. Yeah, it's a good little dichotomy and split between the way you can approach a site take, right? You have the typical button dash towards B with that Jet that makes you feel good. The dash up draft onto the top of generator on the opposite site. So again, entry is going to be a little bit different along with the follow up, but one thing for sure, a good little starting even round to get us going.
They have a raise, so I'm gonna be looking for some double satchels, perhaps maybe even some outplays. She did recently get nerfed, unfortunately, having that boombot go from 10 to 5. I would say controversial. Some people have been complaining about it, talking about how it wasn't realistically that powerful, and the fact that they nerfed it is just driving it even more into the ground from what it once was. So that's a pretty interesting decision, I would say. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
For me, I'm no opinion. I'll go neutral. Is that an acceptable response?
That is, fair. To each his own. Me personally, I'm on the side of it really did not need to be nerfed. It wasn't super overpowered. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the Fade Prowlers are just better at what they are really effective as we're going for a slow set of pace. They're not going to be rushing into this A choke, at least not yet. They're being cautious, respecting their opponents, as Omen is playing on an off angle, using that TP just in the nick of time to get out. Gets one. The trade goes out right off the bat. Limes giving themselves some room to work with as Lubbock High School Notorious. They're up by a player, now by 2. Wow.
Yeah, clapping, and that's a great little site take. They really worked that first opening pick, utilize that paint shell to really segregate that position and get that Omen out into the open with that TP. Not a lot of places you can go, whether it's into sight or off on an angle. You're in trouble as that Omen, and with that, everyone kind of funneled right on through. And at this point, I'm not sure if we're watching a match as much as we're watching a hokey pokey dance. You see your Bonkin and Co. just having a bit of a situation, but 1v4, Russ, Jiggle, and a peek. Everyone's gonna show up. A bit of a
they're going for the. This isn't, you don't get too much more credits for that, but you do get a loss bonus for that KJ, so at least they're not too far off. It's just the first round as we see a Phantom Light Shield.
I'm not gonna lie, as a round 2er Reyna player, if I go off like that, I'll buy as well round 2. I have no fear whatsoever.
But Omen.
I get it. Hey, you know what? If you're feeling good, you're feeling good, Chief. They walked into round 1 and just absolutely clapped that A site like it was no one's business. So we'll take those. Lubbock here, again, a bit more A-centric. However, Spike's dropped somewhere in a different area code. So my spidey senses tell me they're going to go back and either fish it and hit another site or do something of that nature. But no, never mind. Citrus going with the bing and a bond with the 1 and the 2 judge. Paint shells are out. Creative out in generator, generating a pick onto Citrus there. The rest of the team is looking to funnel in. Jax with that Vandal, low hit points and having to dance around the nano swarms around the base here. So patient with that mouse one connecting onto Avery. Good little take and good patience out of that Omen. And if so far here for me, that Vandal has paid off dividends.
It really has. You know, I was a doubter at first, but it worked out. His turner having to turn around and run away. He uses another flash. They're going again for the knife, but this might cost him. Someone from behind. Oh, the fade using that tether to absolutely secure it. The confidence displayed. Hey, they didn't lose that Vandal. They're able to keep it into the coming rounds. And that is going to be a strong bonus for them, because going into the first rifle round with rifles, it's going to be really good for you, especially because most teams on their bonus are just saving. They're going for those eco weapons, sheriffs, and maybe the specters if they're able to keep any. So ooh.
Well, hot diggity damn there, nerds. We're
yeah, it's
we're in it. We're in it for the killings here. 2 knife kills, 2 rounds in. You dig it, Avery here, playing the discipline game, not getting too nosy on the backside of A, just chilling. But Lubbock also are really feeling pretty good about this A site take. Double satchel, huge paranoia. My goodness, oh bang! Out of Citrus. I don't know. At this point, whether you play Beethoven's Fifth over and over again, it's still a classical banger. And in this case with Lubbock, this A side take is truly the definition of a classical banger. Now 3 rounds in a row, flawless side take. Spike is down, and here we go for the post.
Did you see that buddy on that gun? It was a very clean buddy. See, we try to gather as much information as casters on our teams and on our players, but sometimes we don't get all of it. So it's nice to see that in these games we see their buddies. That was a Radiant gun buddy there.
Let's go.
I mean, hey, cracked players. That being said, the site retake needs to commence.
Avery on the backside, transitioning from tree, but it's not enough. I mean, Lubbock is so well planted, and I really love their post plant setup. So site centric. I mean, they're really not looking to back away from any of their posts, and it's working out just so good for them.
Avery, a very crunchy leaf, left in a 1v3. It's stressful, especially with 3 rounds up. You're going to be getting that maximum loss bonus after all that. But at the end of the day, you are on the down. You're on the downturn. You have to start changing up the pace. That being said, going for a slight, maybe a light buy, forced in the Marshall. Altogether. Oh, there we go. We see it again. And now on the Vandal, that being also for the Notorious team, they have full rifles going into this B site. They're switching it. They favored it. Now they're going to be switching up the pace. That showstopper going out into market. He's able to find one, sees the toes of that KJ, gets another one, showing us some of that Radiant thought processes. I think I don't know if they're going to be going for another knife here, but it might be a flawless victory as a very crunchy leaf is being hunted down. Leaf crumbles and falls. As crunchy as it was.
I think we've done a fair job of commenting on Lubbock and their strength, obviously, when it comes to taking this A site. But let's flip the dice a little bit here and talk about Hawthorne for a second. They truly feel like they're playing timid. I don't see confidence when they are on the site. Then immediately the site take comes around, Avery's left, like just ejecto cito right into market and is playing the hiding game in their smoke. And from there, they've given up spawn. They're on the back side of things, and there's no opportunity to get through. Then you got Citrus coming in like an absolute wrecking ball with a showstopper, connects right on through the smoke into market, and then funnels into spawn to get 2. I mean, that's just troubling. Hawthorne, I think, need to be a bit more firm on their positioning and play their sites better. But again, Skelly doing some of the exact same that we talked about, stuck in the lockdown for 1, but then getting clapped to the face with that sheriff. It feels like maybe I'm going to eat my word. They just can't find any footing anywhere when it comes to this Hawthorne team.
They are regrouping currently up in heaven, but it's just difficult for skill issue right now because they, like you said, they're just giving up sight. And of course, I like to talk about, hey, if you're going up against better opponents, sometimes it is better to retake. But if you can't at least if retake isn't functioning for these next couple rounds, try to hold on to that site. Utilize that KJ utility, the Sentinel potential to slow them down with the mollies, the trade in numbers going out. It's 2-2, so Hawthorne still has some recourse here as it's now a 1 versus 2, but the spray with the Odin doesn't connect. The ball swirls around. Beautiful skins and beautiful wins. It's the 5 rounds for Team Notorious up against Hawthorne. Skill issue. I mean, do you just gamble stack a site? Do you lock it down harder? I mean, what's the play here?
The play is kind of just to really be tenacious and stick to your guns, right? I think as much as you can be in a losing position of this nature for Hawthorne, they should stick to discipline, true regimented play, because that's what it's going to get to in the higher tiers of Valorant, right? Playing the YOLO game of stacking sites and looking for opportunity, I get it, but I think this is the time for them to develop their team synergy, working with each other, their site setups, and just look to refine their skills as we get later into this match.
Try new strategies, think about different positions. And it works out for them as they're able to get one. The wall from Sage going out creative mode is able to get creative. Yeah. You're able to get into the back line and pinch them onto this B site. He's able to get one, but they're a very crunchy. Leaf crumbles one more. Even though they're on low HP, it's just a matter of time before they find Lime's show. But Lime's be able to give him a 6th round, or is this going to change the tide for Hawthorne? As they're all scattering, trying to find him, hunting them down, looking for and finding any opportunity they can to win this round.
Oh, if Limes can just really peek out, that'd be great. But so patient. Everyone's rotated off. I do appreciate Hawthorne here playing the caboose game at that A site. Sticking together, they have two very low HP members in the form of that Jet and the KO. Spike goes down, turret set up, and oh boy, those two coming around the corner. If they get so much just bonked by that turret, they're toast. So luckily, Bonk in there is leading the charge. He's going to go ahead and call for that. No deaths occurring, at least for the time being. TP spots out Limes. Transition. That's get the one. That's one of the higher HP members now left. Oh, gets the one out to Avery now. Quick little transition down to that 2 versus 1. Skelly and Co. making the move downstairs. Can they collapse?
They still have the numbers. They find out where he is. It's Pisturner near the end, giving that defuse to Skelly, who just used their ultimate extremely effectively, might I add. We don't really call out Omen ults that often, but from the shadows is an extremely powerful tool to gain information in those clutch situations.
Well placed, well executed. I mean, they walked into that with a 4v1 and ended up as a 2v1 finish. So from a value perspective, you gotta love what was pulled out there from that KJ. Picked up a lot of value add in terms of eliminations.
Yeah, you're going to be able to start building up that ultimate. You're going to be able to build up your economy. Even though you've lost the round, you have a lot of potential there. You also had the plant giving them a plant bonus for Notorious. Oh, the op plays working out for Citrus, and I think this is where we see the double satchel, at least the satchel onto sight, but that op does not work out for them. A very crunchy Leaf getting a decent amount of value before being traded. It's still 3-on-3, but there's the ultimates in favor of skill issue on this retake, and hopefully this confidence that we've been seeing from them is going to allow them for this retake not only to persevere and prosper, but also to hopefully succeed and win out effectively. Hopefully keeping at least 1 or 2 players alive so they can carry on their weapons. And as I say that, call it a caster curse or a blessing, it's going to be falling in favor of Notorious.
Clean stuff. I mean, you've seen the strength of Notorious when it comes to their site take and their post, and they're just absolute demons when it comes to the Mouse 1 game too. Citrus has given us light of that multiple times on that A site take. And if I've learned a thing or two at this point for Lubbock, it's going to be really executing on that A. That has been their strong point. The statistics, albeit the let's say sample size is small in the form of 7 rounds, it still has value to me that if they continue to hit on that A site, they've got really good 1s and 2s figured out in terms of smokes and how they play on the post.
Post plant, once they get a solid post plant for Hawthorne, it is so hard for them to retake. Notorious just has really good crossfires, really good and really confident setups. They know like where to jiggle and where to play off each other, so allowing them to take these sites is really bad. That's why I'm loving this play from Omen, using the tries to go for the knife and misses, using the paranoia to slow them down. Citrus is already on site. He's able to find the 2 players. Once Bonkin gets the trade, the spike is down. They need to get the plant off as well. See, look, they're setting up for the crossfire already right off the bat. Raze is already pushing up into heaven to find someone, but this over aggression unfortunately doesn't net them anything, but just the raw firepower from Fade not only gives away their position with that ultimate, but also is able to grab 2. Are they gonna be able to win this out? The decay is too strong.
I'm absolutely in love with Lubbock's playstyle. I mean, there's nothing short of spectacular, right? Although Citrus went for the jump up, right, getting over aggressive as we call it, the intention was to equalize and play a risk factor, knowing that the intention is here to gain some ground, right? Came up short, but then, for lack of better words, Russ just went off and absolutely clutched it. So they're playing a very regimented style that I'm a fan of. I do like Citrus's decision in that type of scenario, right? Get
You
the
gotta be
equalizer.
the playmaker.
You got to, yeah. You have to step it up. You know your shot's hot. You know you walked into this. You do have rounds to work with. Let's make it happen. Work the magic here. And yeah, the clutch itself was just the icing on the cake. Now trying to get aggressive here. Turner feeling a little frisky at B main and coming a little bit short of the situation. Citrus going to read the room well. A bing and a bong. A little bit of a satchel. The good old Omen TP gets everything out to safety. But I mean, this is again the same. Run it down. They're back on that site. Smokes plenty. And Mitski is going hunting. Ends up getting hunted in the head there by Bonkin. So Spike, though, at that B site, which is a bit of a different approach. Although they have A control, they gotta go back and grab it. Yes, that'll do it.
A nice fake onto the B site, getting all the players from Skill Issue to rotate onto site. Hawthorne needs to play this retake perfectly because they are on a lesser buy and they have to play retake. And we've seen historically their retakes are not that effective, unfortunately. With a very crunchy leaf, having that weapon, they have a Vandal, a rifle in hand, there's a lot of potential. Oh man.
Oh boy.
2 rounds.
Jack's so confident though.
Oh, but he gets detained. In heaven, one is detained. They're going to be going for the hunt. Citrus hopefully going to keep him alive. They just get the knife out on him. You know, it's the art of being a nuisance. All you got to do is stay alive long enough for that spike to detonate.
We're here because we're the best.
Risky stuff. But even in the stickiest of situations here, we somehow see Lubbock High hold their ducks completely squared up. I mean, they're adventurous, they're risk-taking, they're confident more than anything, and they back it up with a great shot.
They adapt after every single time Hawthorne tries to change something, Lubbock adapts.
Yep. And again, very A-focused. This time hitting that short side of things a little bit, which is a nice change up. I haven't seen that in a bit. Coming for the flank is Turner again, not learning the lesson from the previous round. Only a Spectre gets picked off. Skelly, though, has some good control. Door being closed. That is only a paper mache door that can get shot down, so not too major. And with a minute 14 on the clock here, Lubbock can easily go ahead and shake and bake off to a different site. Oh my goodness. So I was about to comment. POV catches it. Citrus, the Bandito, is on a huge flank here.
Ooh. The res goes out onto KO. It's a lot of utility for them as the B site is empty. That being said, Lubbock High, they're currently separated. Everyone is away from each other. No one is together, catching one more off guard. Will Russell be able to get the plant off? The spam through the boxes goes out. And again, the separation from them, admirable attempts for them to try and just win something out. All these players do a really good job of having those individual outplays like we just saw earlier, the clutch coming out from Russell as well. But when you're separated so far up against each other and you go into a 2v1 and you're not isolating that fight, it's just really difficult for you to win out. Citrus knows where they are. The position has been given out. The knife as well. I hear you. I heard you. This like, oh, it's just like when you, this is like the third knife, I believe, in this game, right? What? From Notorious? This is the third one. Notorious. Lubbock High has just gotten 3 in a row. Not 3 in a row, sorry. 3 knives this game.
It's like the Spidey senses are next level from this group. I don't know if there was a calm or what led Citrus to go completely hunting towards backside there, but I mean, it does convert into the round, so I'll take that any day of the week here. So, and coming into this, the one thing with these consecutive round wins, spike plants left, right, and center, and huge, 2K, 3Ks is Lubbock High is rinsing their ultimates like it's no one's business. Like, how many more showstoppers am I going to see? How many more lockdowns? How many more nightfalls? It just feels like a complete mess when it comes to Hawthorne. They just can't hold it off. I've seen Avery on the Bladestorm a fair number of times and looking for the one up top. Shaken, but not able to connect now. Pick, though, does occur towards top mid, and that's a great little dubski with the lockdown here present. Everyone's going to go ahead and collapse in onto site, drop off that friendly little turret to protect, and keep Hawthorne on the outskirts of that lockdown for the time being.
And there we see the boom bot, the one that just got recently nerfed, unfortunately. I think Avery going for the knives is extremely useful as they fall within a second. I was gonna say for their save, because they're gonna be going to that next round, hopefully buying up in full, as Notorious is just going hunting, trying to find people. Creative mode looks to find some picks, but they're looking to hunt. Everyone's got their knives out, or the majority of them got their knives out. That is going to be number 4. Wow.
I know I ooh and ah every single time I see a knife kill, because
No,
A, doesn't
you
get old,
should.
and B, it's just hilarious watching it through the smoke, by the way, with
Oh,
X-ray
yeah.
on. It's just like you don't know what's on the other side, but there's just a bunch of people with shanks out ready to cross you like
Oh,
one
of
time.
course.
It's just funny.
I
don't
think
know.
when
Anyways,
casting, I always ooh and ah in situations. Just it adds the intensity. Ooh, ah, nice shot. The onomatopoeia of the game. That being said, it is about to be the half. Last round before we switch, and the scoreline is looking, dare I say, intense. It is a stressful scoreline indeed, as a risky play from Sklee does not work out in skill issues favor. Hawthorne is down by 2 players already.
yes, sir. And the numbers continue to mount here. Turner having a bit of a salsa, a little bit of a shake and bake. The knives are out. Everyone's going hard at it. Mitski with the shank onto Turner. We'll give you an ooh because, well, I mean, it kind of just happened. Oh no.
Oh, they're going.
This is some scary stuff. There's, oh my God, Monken, what are you gonna do?
Oh, he
What are you
got
gonna do?
one.
Get the one and oh.
Jax TPing from behind. At that point, do you just like try and 1v1 with a knife?
This is we round out half 11-1. This is almost as bad as the Saw series in terms of horror.
It's scary.
It is demonically scary when you have 4 people running at you with shanks out and you can't do anything about it.
That being said, I will say Hawthorne has had some great adaptations. Being able, that play from Sklee, even though it was risky and it did not work out for them, at least they're adapting and changing a lot of their strategies up, trying to hold sight more and really slow them down. I feel as though the raw firepower from Notorious it's strong, and this is only the 2nd week of the season, so they don't know how this team plays just yet. Maybe in the future they'll change up their strategy, go with more nades and mollies to slow them down, maybe a brimstone as their smokes, because at that point you have the molly, at that point you have some recourse to go against it. That being said, Notorious now on defense with the KJ as well. It's going to be really strong for their playstyle.
Super aggro. Citrus down on mid. Dancing at tiles. Turner converts the trade. Nice little pistol 3v3 to get us into things. Russ pinned. And the battle continues. Sees keeping Skelly and Co busy. Going out. Does catch Omen, but there's a lot more activity there. They got to be cognizant of. Yet we still get a knife somewhere in a different part of the map. Blinds us on the flank. Does get a follow-up second pick as well on tiles. Luckily, creative mode converts for the 1. Getting Hawthorne their first pistol.
Hey, the start of the climb back up into the game. It's never too early to start, and it's never too late to believe. I love rooting for the underdog, and I will say, if Notorious, I mean, they had an amazing attack. Some teams are really, really good at one side. If they can't keep it together and hold it on defense, hey, well, we might be seeing a game here. That being said, also Notorious could be playing for retake as well, since they were so good on attack on that site. I see a lot of teams that have good execution compositions play on the retake for their defense.
Mitski here, contemplating life, dancing with this jet, so confident still, looking for that Devourer to heal up. Oh, wait a minute, there's a knife! It's Jax, absolutely flying in out of left field. And capitalizing yet again, and on that note, 5v3 advantage. They've got everything locked down. They know exactly where Hawthorne is hiding, and they're converging towards that B side area, ready to collapse on them.
It's the aggression. I mean, they have a very aggressive team altogether, and obviously creative mode is able to capitalize off of that. Spamming through the smoke, trying to find someone, looking at those tracers, but I don't believe they managed to win out, unfortunately. but it is still 3-3. Spike has gone down for Hawthorne. They have nothing but time to play with. Hopefully they can get one more. They find out where Citrus is. One goes down. Citrus fell. I thought Jax was going to be falling there, but no, stays alive. So there's a lot of potential for the Paranoia to do some damage and slow them down. They forced up as well, and it's the last player standing. 2v1. Glee finds them. Lime's show goes down, and that is going to be another round for Skill Issue. Cutting it close there, but they were able to keep 2 alive.
Yeah, we take it, but now here we go, Lubbock. After some back and forth, they're in a position where they should be able to buy up. Half armor might be on the agenda, but it's still a W in my eyes. They can walk in and hopefully do something about the strong early presence of Hawthorne, but to me, it kind of feels like Lubbock's kind of toying with their food here, nerds. They're not really...
they're not really giving it their
you know
all.
What I'm saying. Yeah, not necessarily giving it their all, per se, but they're just really... they're doing their thing. They're continuing on with the antics of the previous half, and if they really want to step it up, they could, but Hawthorne's probably not upset about these kinds of rounds, and we've seen some walking things happen, right? When momentum shifts, regardless of what is causing it to shift, it can cause turbulence on... a certain team setup, and with Lubbock that might be the scenario. We'll see how they fare though. Already down a member coming in, unable to convert. So far good here for Turner and co. Crunchy Leaf watching the backside as the whole Fandango is rotating through spawn. Paranoia is out, but in a 5v3, if Hawthorne plays this right, they can set up a really good position for themselves and play a strong post, and they are doing that. Trading picks out left, right, and center. Jax though, looking for the 1, looking for the 2, looking for the threesome, converging on a bunch of opening picks, and now everyone's kind of pigeonholed towards the back. Turner, low hit points, and the entire squad of Lubbock, namely 2 folks, are about to collapse on site.
I mean, they have that ultimate for information from the shadows. 1 player left. They had such an advantage, yet a little bit too loose. It didn't work out. They go for the knives. See, the ego makes them fall. It's just the ego makes them fall, and now it's 4-1. It happens.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating when you're in that situation, at least from our perspective too. I mean, as much as I'm a fan of the knives, it's not something that is really conducive to great sportsmanship and really playing a clean, concise game, right? This is professional esports, and we're trying to aim and strive to deliver that type of approach. So, I mean, all things put aside, though,
they have. I mean,
my thoughts don't change, right? It's a matter of just bringing the heat and stepping it up. Right, if they want to do so, Lubbock can bring it, and we can see now the same aggression coming out from the side of Hawthorne. They're looking to hit that B main one more time, and it seems like Lubbock delivers that same type of blow right back at him with a double satchel push onto main.
If they want, you do that, you lose. They lost the round, so it's only giving an advantage to Hawthorne. So at the end of the day, it's only going to be to their detriment, as Lubbock is trying to close things out cleanly at the end here, but Hawthorne is not out of it just yet. It is still at the threat of match point though. 1 away. The tap goes out. Pros do fake in this situation. That's what's bonking being last alive. Do they have lineups for this?
It's a yellow lineup from downtown. Oh, Lime's still going for the shank. Defuse is good. Bonkin, though, is on a great number in terms of retaking. Almost cleans up Jax, but insufficient as the round's already over and the match point has been secured for Lubbock.
There we go. I mean, they finally stepped it up. They were capable of closing out the round together. And now it's putting Hawthorne into a tight situation to play a perfect game from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
my feels. I mean, nothing short of perfection has to occur. You hit the nail on the head for all of us there. So
it's really difficult. The stress is really high, especially when Mitsuki fan is just so crispy with it. They're just the capabilities from both these teams.
The term one way is not applicable here, apparently, because Mitsuki sees right through it and is able to connect, albeit nice little angles. Double satchel is behind the distraction. Skelly, though, is quick with the Guardian, but the conversion of Lubbock High, after toying with their food, they get that combo delivered, the 13-4 to finish off a set.
Hey, I'm not the only one who calls things combos, right? You know, I get the 3-piece, you get yourself fun thing there. That being said, a 13-4 Lubbock wins out in map 1, Haven being the second map. Haven is slightly different. It's different than Ascent in the fact that it has a different map, but also in its play style, which gives me some hope for Hawthorne and their redemption in this game.
Haven is going to be a fresh start, a new approach, hopefully less knives and more gunfights is what I'm yearning for, as are many. But if that wasn't able to set up the stage for what's more to come tonight, I don't know what is. Great banger opener on Ascent. To our fellow viewers, stay tuned, keep rooting for your favorite teams, invite your friends, family, and all to watch and join us here as we head over to Haven. But first, of course, a very quick break. We'll be back to you momentarily. All right, fantastic people. Welcome back to the continuation of this first best of 3 series. We've seen Ascent now get wiped off the table in a very sparkly and fireworky fashion. Yes, those are words. Off we go to now Haven, the 3-sided map. What I'm most excited for that I talked about here in the pre-show. We'll see how Lubbock can fare if they're going to go ahead and continue that same type of strength and momentum that they had in that map number 1. We saw notable plays out of Citrus and Lime & Co. Everyone did a great job. I mean, the shots were on point. The aggression was on point. But Haven is a fresh start. And hopefully, at the end of the day, an opportunity for Hawthorne to really step up their game and take it off to that map number 3.
It is also Hawthorne's map, so there's a lot of potential there. Like you said, the Sparks, Citrus going back to the Rays. I mean, there's a lot of fireworks there. The paint shell being an amazing piece of utility along with a showstopper. Very colorful, very bright, and very useful. That being said, on the flip side, we're already starting to see a skeleton composition of kind of like, hey, this is what we might be going for. Although the Yoru and the Phoenix pick are interesting to say the least. I would say if you're going to be going for an initiator on Haven, I still strongly like and think that Breach is one of the best agents on this map, only because of the ace site. You can retake it really easily. You have C Long where you can send his stun down. The Rolling Thunder, that ultimate is so useful to retake on any site for that matter. It's just a really powerful composition to have him in there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I do like Breach, and a very annoying Breach can be just that, very annoying and difficult to manage. So locking it down though, Hawthorne, Astra, Neon, Yoru, Fade, and Chamber. Of course, Lime's back on that cage. We got Mitsuki on that Yoru. Huge entry potential with the support of Jackson Coast, Citrus, Double Satchel, God, Rays. And hey, guess what, nerds? You got your one Breach in the form of Russ.
I'm just saying that if you're going to be, they're starting on attacks, so they're probably thinking about that second half for retakes, that first half for the stuns and the flashes. The flashpoint is just, I think, in general, Breach's flashes are, in my opinion, one of my favorites, only because of the capability not only to not team flash, but also to control where, how, and what angles you're flashing, how the opponents are going to see it, if it's in line of sight. And it's also really good to set up your teammates and your duelists for a really strong entry and getting all those kills and eliminations right off the bat.
With you, 110. But keeping things in the forefront of our minds is the ascent situation and what we kind of set ourselves up for here. This is a new start, and I'm really hoping that Hawthorne can bring the heat in the early couple rounds and show us that that spark within and what they're made of. Because it's like we talked about in the previous matchup, just the knife kills and really how much fun was being had with Lubbock. And that's what scares me, is if they stop doing that, what are they really capable of? So big push here. Skelly super overextended out into long. A gets picked off there by Citrus. Rotates are coming around from everybody now, and the wrap is, you get the one pick, the transition for the 1 and 2. Lubbock's taking a lot of damage, but with the actual utility instead of the Omen, they are so good at getting on site, and they do a great job of getting the spike down in a very timely fashion too here, nerds.
The speed at which they executed just right now to get onto that site shows that their aggression knows no bounds. Oh, unfortunately, Neon falls. 4 players still alive, but with the HP only basically totaling to 2 players alive. But the utility is a thing that's going to be the scariest part. You see the Astra suck, slowing everyone down. How are you supposed to get into there? And this is where the breach is going to start coming in. Oh, they push! A creative play coming out from that fade. But unfortunately, 2 players still alive for the Notorious.
Huge.
That's
exactly what we saw on Ascent, man.
It is.
Site,
it really is.
It's not even complicated when you actually look at it from the grand scheme. It's like, it's kind of easy work for them, the way they get on these sites and utilize
aggressively. Everything. They just take things slow when they need to. They peek together if they're set up crossfires in case the retake was strong. They had the crossfire set up on Graffiti and in Heaven, just to make sure, in Hell more specifically, just to make sure, we have our bases covered, we cleared site. But as soon as they realized that the site take wasn't going to be a strong, super fast, like reactive rush, they took the space that they needed to. They realized, okay, these guys aren't going to be coming in here. And I think it has something to do with the radiance on their team, with Citrus probably being the duelist, the entry, and the IGL all at once, along with a couple of mortal buddies that I saw earlier on some of the guns from the team. So it's not too surprising that they have those strategies in their mind.
Spike now in a completely normal position, for lack of better terms, on that A site. And Russ is just hunting for picks. Does get the one. Often the fringes is limes converting. And, well, you can't retake site if you can't get to site, and that seems to be the solution for Lubbock on that round especially.
Playing in that ratty little corner, he's able to get a decent amount of value out of it. Russell playing... they're playing really strong together. They're just comfortable with taking space, and they know that their aim is on point. Whether they use utility to clear it out, we've seen a lot of utility coming out from all these players to clear out corners and make sure that when they're pushing in, they're not pushing in blind. And even if they are pushing in blind, they jiggle, they jump peek, they try and find out as much information as they can. So with all the aggression that we see from Notorious, they're also doing it very methodically. Now to go on the flip side, the other side of the coin, Hawthorne, they are going on to a very interesting round. I believe they had a light or a broken buy in this half. So it's going to be a little bit disorganized as a very crunchy leaf falls. 3 players left for Hawthorne.
I like how Spike goes down and instantly it's like the hunt. I mean, Russ is out like a piranha in the middle of the ocean, just looking for picks, and is able to convert onto Skelly, who is stuck out in the grassy land of grass. However, Turner, Bonkin, they do manage to converge somewhere onto site, but there's just way too much happening. When numbers are thriving as much as they are on the side of Lubbock High School, you have a very hard time managing the fringes of this map, let alone the core of it where that Spike is down, and they continue their dominance with a 3-0 lead.
I mean, it could be, there's so many things that they could try in this situation, but I don't know, trying different strategies is the only thing that really works out in the end. A broken buy again for Hawthorne, 2 players going on lower weaponry. Perhaps purchasing up utility instead. If you're going to be getting utility from anywhere, I mean, they have really, really good util. Both Piss Turner and Fade have the potential to change the way the game is played here. If they can creatively use their utility, especially because Fade has the potential to blind and stun everyone.
Despite the turbulence, what is remarkable for me about Hawthorne is that they still push. Right? They seem to have a very aggressive playstyle, and I don't know if they're just really trying to get an early pick or stop getting pushed on, if that's their strategy. But it feels like whatever they do, it just ain't working. Like hard 0 out of 10. So off that note, Lubbock High School. It feels like whatever at this point, Chief, it's like Ascent all over again for me. Whatever they want to do, they can. And Hawthorne either needs to really start playing money smart, and just wake up, right? This mixed buy situation is not going to work out for them in the long run.
Just
got to
get
go
judges,
back to their ones and twos.
Get some shotguns, sit in a corner, and play the numbers game of taking out Lubbock. They have built up such a strong economy. Look at Lime's show. He's at 9K with a Vandal, that's a rifle, and full shields. These early peaks aren't necessarily working out for them. This Piss Turner is able to get one with the Odin, a very powerful and a very big investment. That is a really expensive weapon, but getting only one pick out of it, it's not providing as much value as they would like to see. Oh, Mitsuki trying to pull some stunts, but it only backfires at him in the end. And now it's only 2 players, 2v2.
I'm absolutely demonic here on the prowl. Creative stuck on the back of sight here. Left and right turret on the one side, a Jax attack on the other side. And, well, that's the recipe for disaster, sir. If you're wondering, page 62 of the Valorant cookbook, does Lubbock High continue their siege on Hawthorne?
Do you think the judge play, sit in a corner, let them come to you? They're so aggressive. Citrus just runs in. No?
No, I don't think so. I just think that Lubbock is just on point. Judges aren't going to be the savior. It is going to take a lot more than that to stop these guys.
I just think shotguns in a corner. I mean, worst case scenario.
But then I think they're also smart. I think they're going to read that. You know what? I don't actually want to see that happen.
I think it'll work for one round. I'm thinking just one round to trip him up. Perhaps. I don't know how well it would work, but their unbridled aggression against a really aggressive team, it might not be the play. Although that Neon ultimate is extremely powerful, it's just they're avoiding it entirely. Look at Lubbock. They know, okay, when we meet this Neon, we have to make sure we are all together so we can get the trade here. And now they still have their numbers advantage, more or less. Oh wait, no, sorry. Hawthorne actually has a numbers advantage currently.
And aggression. Avery here is on the hunt. Does have a TP available to go back if things go nasty, but on the flank, does Lubbock expect it? Shots being fired. They're watching the flank, transitioning, spraying. Doesn't convert for the second. We take those. That's still an advantage for Hawthorne. Skelly here is in a great spot to get the one. Potential number 2. Not feeling too confident with it. Re-swinging, but that gives Mitsuki an opportunity to capitalize and reset that mouse 1 spray. Going for it though. Bonkin. Hello. We're awake now. I don't know if you are, but it's a good little setup from Hawthorne and a much more disciplined and played out round.
Just to play the other side, they won off of Piss Turner's ultimate. That Neon ultimate is really, really powerful and really useful for getting eliminations left, right, and center without too much worry of retaliation. If that was a difference maker, are they going to be able to continue this momentum? That being said, they have the money and the economy to buy up Vandals, Operators, and Odins galore. They have the weaponry, but are they going to have the sustainability? As we see, they try to run in and it doesn't work out. Dimensional Drift going for a very crunchy leaf, trying to get as much information as they can, but not working out in the long run. The jiggle peak, maybe just a little too wide. As What's Bonkin finishes things off, Sklee in the back line, getting one more for their team. They're starting to warm up.
Sure. Always. It's like Lubbock are kind of feeding the fire a little bit with Hawthorne. This is great for them, though. I mean, Lubbock continues to buy, they continue to run their dollars down, and Hawthorne is just building up that econ, which is what you want to do in this case. Just patience here. Patience. I think... No, go ahead. ahead.
Look at the spending. They've spent a decent chunk of money. That's gonna be stressful. If they lose this out, it's gonna be a decent money sink.
Yeah, it will be. Have some confidence here. Big fault line coming out here. Skelly is still fighting. Huge point blank flash. Oh my! Not like this.
No, he's better.
Oh, wait! There's another one behind. What is
What?
this? This is so nasty. They're pinching with knives.
Ooh, that is an unfortunate reality.
Player standing.
It's just what's bonking with an op. Solo plays the fake TP. Yours trying to peek out against him. Is he going to be able to pull off some miracles? 12 HP and a dream. Oh, they're again going for the knives. I mean, it's such a interesting strategy, but clearly not one that works for them.
Yeah, I'm a silent beaver here, just kind of watching because I feel like I'm going on an adventure with these guys. Like it's the unexpected happening all the time. 1 second we're pushing, the next second we're playing a slow post plant, the next second people are just running out with knives. I feel like I'm getting an entire soap opera series in a matter of 13 rounds of Valorant or whatever we end up playing in the grand scheme of it. So yeah, my math is wrong, but what's going on here? Did I miss something?
Look at they just lost and they're buying up operators, and I thought they had 2 ops and an Odin at one point. That's why I said ooh. Ooh, the automatopoeias. No fear?
No fear.
No fear. No fear. You gotta push in. You gotta keep your momentum and your mental up. Maybe that's why I keep losing my ranked teams. That's a possibility.
Very plausible indeed, but I think there might be more to it there, nerds. I can kind of agree with your thoughts. Profit is not that simple, but it feels like for this game at least, 1 second Lubbock makes it look too easy, then the next here we get a great little opener from Hawthorne. Huge change, Nightfall comes out. Nice positioning from Avery, sitting way down in the mid area, just hanging out and chilling all across the board. And now look at a converge. Bonkin, nice little prowl coming out from the sides of Seaside as they look to converge and continue on. Limes 1, 2. Oh my goodness me. I smelt it. I smelt victory, but oh so close, but yet so far.
I mean, you got a sheriff and a dream. And they did a decent amount of damage, but all things considered, Hawthorne is looking like a different team. Last time, it took them a very, very long time to get 3 rounds off of Notorious. Lubbock High, they did a really splendid job just taking Ascent, basically taking it. Not fighting for it, taking it. But this time, they have to fight for it. It's 3 rounds up already. They've only managed to get 6. That's half of half. And, 6-6 is a very good score line. That means both teams played relatively well and on even footing. But Lubbock wants to push up, get more rounds in this opening half so they can be on the up and up when we switch sides.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'll take it, Chief. At this point, this is a great start for Hawthorne. I echo your thoughts, but I still feel that Lubbock's got juice in the tank here. Very forward sight take again, and that's what worked them for Ascent, or worked for them on Ascent, rather. Messed up the ordering. But they're getting punished for it. The patient and oh so diligent Hawthorne played the wings here on that plant now. Bonkin's up in heaven. Could converge, but they've got sight on lock. Mouse 1 is not going to be the solution here. Bonkin, good little pick off. However, the smokes are going to block off heaven area for the time being and force Hawthorne down below, which I think is really the advantage position for them, considering Lubbock is really good with that post plant from the baseboards of the site.
Slowly and methodically, they're just gonna try and peek onto site together, picking up skins. They always give wins. You got to get that fun stuff. Alarm bot goes off. They peek, maybe not simultaneously, but they peek almost in sync, exactly against their opponents, and they get those frags. 2 players go down, and that is another round up for Lubbock High.
It's clean, man.
It's
These guys
hard.
are good.
They
It's
are.
tough, yeah.
They're very good at the game. They are.
pretty nutty.
They have the aim. They have the brain. I believe I saw another. There was another like Immortal or Riot buddy in the mix here. They on the Opper. It's just when you have players of such high standing, it's the reason we bring that up so much as a point of contention is just because they have a whole different thought process in playing the game, even bigger than what I have. I mean, I try my best in most of this game, but like they just have the thought processes so advanced. They think really quickly and they make decisions so fast that it's so difficult sometimes to even commentate and talk about what they do, unless it's for color commentary, talking about it after it's happened.
What I really appreciate about Lubbock is how they conserve utility for post plant. Like, there hasn't been a single time where they've been on a site without an Astra dropping a smoke down. And that's great for them. Continue to buy time, saving that util. Russ, quick with the shots. Skelly comes out for the transition. All's good here, but they have the clutch maestro. Fantastic KJ here to play things out and utilize some of that nano swarmage.
I kind of really like this. I think this crosshair is really interesting. But even so, we just see in the demonstrated skill from these players being able to tap away their way to victory with virtually no crosshair.
Those are optional here. So
Oh yeah,
I'm just kidding. They're not optional. 8-3 now with the score. Lubbock bringing that heat a bit more forward. It's like sometimes with these guys and many teams, it feels like things are on a dial, right? Like a volume dial or, the dial on your stove to take it from low to high. It feels like Lubbock just casually turn up the heat whenever they want to and just step up their game. And they're doing that now. Avery has been good on the flanks and now this time getting super aggro with a huge ultimate in the push. However, Lubbock here is going to go ahead and take advantage of that and look to push on for this long A take, but patience is the solution for Avery. Oh, the turret spots it up. They know exactly what's happening. However, the conversion does occur, getting the one pick onto Jax, but it's a little too late. Lubbock has already set up shop, camp, house, whatever you want to name or call it on that A site, and they solidify a 9-3 half.
Now, Strive, do you believe in curses, mythology, mythos? No? Not at all. I always like asking casters, like, what do they think about it? Because it's always such a meme within the Valorant community. Oh, the 9-3 curse. But I don't believe in it myself either. I believe there are teams that can do really well and have a decent amount of potential to blossom into something far greater than what they were originally when they switch halves. Doesn't matter if it's 9-3, 8-4, 1-11. People have come back in this game really quickly and strongly, as long as they can get that ball rolling. It's just a big old snowball that once you start to build up the economy, the mental, the thought processes, the fortitude that you need to play this game, there's a lot of potential for you to win out. And that being said, we're getting into the pistol round. They're going to be trying their best here, and it's already going in favor of Lubbock High.
They're running wherever they want. Like, look at the full-blown aggression. We saw Hawthorne do this, and what did it result them? Nothing but trouble. When Lubbock does it, they're just all over the place all at once, and it causes just madness. And on that, 10-3 is the result. We're in the double digits, and I feel like we're speedrunning some of this stuff here, G. And when you bring that kind of tempo into this kind of game, it's a different precedent that you set, right? You set a very aggressive and relentless and bludgeoning presence that any team will have a hard time managing, right? I think it's a very underplayed type of game style that, we're all used to the disciplined, splits and strats, but sometimes running it down is equally as effective when you have the shot to back it up.
I mean, if you are confident in yourself and in your team, there's no reason not to. I see. Oh, Stinger, operator of the West, kind of. I see it's very powerful and very useful, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Russell's able to grab a 3-piece for themselves, but not enough to get a take home. Falls. They're going for those funky plays. Jax near the end, able to close things out, wrapping things up in this half.
Yes, sir. It's the continuation, and I'm here for it. If we round this up in a 2-mapper, I'm going to be a little bit razzled because I'm not going to see Fracture, but I'm going to say the one thing that it's kind of set in my mind being here on the EGFH side of things is keep an eye out for Lubbock, right? As we start to develop the brackets, we get later and later into the season, we start to see matchups kind of perspire into really good rivalries that makes me most excited. Hawthorne has some work to do, as we can see, but evidently they do have a great bit of energy out of them, and oh, never mind. as I'm giving great, commendable, well-rounded comments about their playstyle. We're getting a mid-game knife round. Let's get her done.
I mean, hey, it reminds me of the olden times in CS when you'd get into a match and for like the first part of deathmatch, it's just all knives. As crazy as it is, and as memey, dare I say, it is to have this kind of stuff, I'm happy that at least both schools are participating and having a fun, more fun time with it, right? If it was just if someone brought out a gun or was doing some bringing Odin to a knife fight, it's like, come on. But they were at least cordial about it, respectful.
It's whatever you say, my guy.
No, do you ever in competition like just do a knife fight mid-round?
Honestly, I've seen this maybe twice in my entire casting career of being a Valorant until now.
Really?
Like, I'm serious. This is one approach to the game.
I mean, definitely not during competitive matches, but at least in like some unrated or even comp matches, I see it a decent amount.
That's fair, yeah, but I don't see this being that way. I mean, I see just, this being a little bit more
it's
discipline required, I guess. But hey, each of their own. 3v1 situation regardless. We kind of all know how this is going to end for the most part. Lubbock here looking to pick things off. Avery looking to transition. Almost gets the ace clutch, but Mitski and co are there to solidify this entire match. They round this off in a clean 2-mapper for us here. Heading off on Haven. Nerds, Lubbock High School. Definitely a team to keep your eyes peeled for.
It is just the beginning of the season, so there's a lot of time for both these teams to develop. And like you mentioned, just at the tail end, it is a team to look out for, a team to watch and see how they develop. They clearly have the aim and the brain to stand up to some of the greatest teams in EGF, so it'll be fun to see how they develop all together. That being said, that goes doubly, maybe even more, for Skill Issue and Hawthorne.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And we're going to wrap up this series. I don't have too much to share. I think you touched on the high notes. For me, we had a chance to kind of walk the journey throughout those 2 maps themselves. We're going to go to a very quick break. We're going to come back here with another series. Myself and Nerds are here, so don't go too far. Take this time to get a snack, a beverage, whatever you so desire, and catch us back here shortly. So, off the break.